Hi, welcome back to Thrive America. I'm your host, Brent Brooks, and I'm joined by very special guest, good friend, J. Mark Walker, Vice President of Client Development at Integrity Solutions, LLC. Mark, thanks so much for coming on to our show.
Well, you're welcome. I'm pleased to be here. I've been looking forward to it.
Tell us a little bit about what it is that you do.
Okay. Well, my job obviously is to work with the clients, client development, but our company, Integrity Solutions, is a 40-year-old performance improvement company. And we use our solutions to help organizations increase sales, raise their customer loyalty, and to improve employee retention. It's not unusual for our solution to be a part of a 20% or higher increase in sales in an organization.
Gotcha. So what I've seen Mark do in my association with Mark is actually go into companies, figure out what their sales process is like, go out with a sales team member and kind of see how they're executing in the field, how they're executing the company's vision. And Mark has a process that improves the company's sales process. So when Mark leaves an organization, the company is selling more effectively, the sales staff is more eager and excited, they have some incentives to work forth, and I've seen you transform companies. And so what I'm so excited about you being on the show is that we've had a lot of guests talk about business building principles. Mm-hmm. But what's unique about you is you can actually take these principles and teach us how to go out into the field and execute a lot of these principles. So I just want to make sure our audience is really acutely aware of your expertise.
Thank you.
So Mark, tell us a little bit about the long view, the long-term view, and what does that mean to you?
Well, one of the most important things, especially in difficult economic times, is for the leadership of a company, whether it's a one-person enterprise or it's a corporation of thousands of people, is to remain focused on what it is that they do that creates value for their clients or their customers. And what we find is a lot of times C-level executives or even owners are tempted to begin cutting their costs by cutting the things that have the greatest impact on their customers, such as reducing the amount of training that's given to their frontline employees or laying off people who have a direct interface with their frontline people. I don't know if you've had the experience of walking into the lobby of a building where they no longer have anyone to receive guests. There's just a naked telephone there, and you're supposed to walk up and look at this list and push a button. If you don't have very many guests, that's probably not important, but if you have 100 people a day or more coming into your lobby area, you need a person there to represent your company. How about the telephone services? You call up and you get these automatic answering systems. And I don't have any problems with that because sometimes they're actually quicker, particularly if you know the person's extension number. But if you don't know somebody's number, some of those are actually set up that you cannot reach an operator. Saves money perhaps. They don't need to have an operator anymore. But here's the problem. What is the customer experience? And so the companies that have the best long-term success are those who constantly are thinking about how can we help our customers understand what we do, and how can we help our customers get their goals satisfied. That's the long-term view for anybody.
Gotcha. And I can imagine that with the current economy, there's some fear and trepidation in companies. You might want to talk about this. Are they cutting the sales staff? Is that one of the first things to go? And is that going to affect a company's long-term success?
Well, typically an organization will not cut their sales force, at least not initially, because they recognize that without a sales team, they're probably not going to have any business. But what they will frequently fail to do is to continue to focus on building up those people so that they're constantly improving their skills as professionals. If you went around and to a group of people in the mall, for example, and you said, what do you think of when you hear the word selling? What kind of response do you think you'd get from most folks?
Car salesman.
Yeah.
Annoying.
Right. Not that there's anything wrong with being a car salesman, but very often those are your least experienced people. They have the least amount of training. They might think of somebody door-to-door selling or something along that line. But it's a negative impression, and yet it is one of the most rewarding and demanding professions that there is. Most of the highest paid people in the United States are either in sales or they got their start in sales, and they've moved up the ranks from that. So what that means is an organization needs to continue to train their salespeople on a regular basis. Now, part of that is that it's not just the flavor of the month or the flavor of the year. And I see this a lot because I've done a lot of sales training in my life, and you can see the old timers in the room, you know, they're saying, I don't know what I'm gonna learn from this guy. I've been through every course there is out there. I could teach this. And they're probably right. But the company, instead of investing in a process, a selling process, and then continually building on that on a regular basis, loses sight of the fact that their people need to become refocused on a daily, almost a daily basis, certainly on a weekly and monthly basis, on what the goals of the enterprise are and what their role as a sales professional is, and then how to take those, the knowledge that they have about their products and services into the marketplace. Does that make any sense?
It does. So to reiterate, the role that Mark plays is to come in and to help a company sell more effectively. And today, Mark, we're going to talk a little bit later about some of the tips and tricks that you can maybe teach our viewers, and so they can walk away from our program today and execute some of these strategies and so forth. We're going to be right back with Mark Walker in just a little bit.